everyone. Welcome to our twofer. You guys are getting a twofer this, I was gonna say it's a twofer Tuesday, but it's not. It's a twofer Wednesday. We've got Couch to Mike, and then we've got Fresh Whips as well. So thank you so much for being here tonight. My name is Stephanie Lazenby, and oh, thank you. It's my fan base over there. And I will be your host for the first half of Couch to Mike. So thanks so much for being here. Let me tell you, since we are new, Couch to Mike is new to the Rockwell, let me tell you a little bit about us. Couch to Mike is a 5-week comedy, writing, and performance workshop. It was founded with the idea of expanding what stand-up really can be, and we base it on creative, your individual creativity, and also it is fostering a non-competitive atmosphere. A lot of times in comedy we can be a little harsh to each other, and that's not really what makes the best fun. So that's a little bit of how Couch to Mike works. So for the last 4 weeks, I have been the comedy Sherpa to this group, and I have been leading them through, and they have been writing and rehearsing and getting their world premiere piece out for you guys tonight. So I'm so excited for that. And thank you, everyone, for being here tonight. Thank you for cheering on your partner, your bestie, maybe your coworker, whoever it is. Thank you so much for showing up. Thanks for tipping the bar. Thanks for buying a ticket. And thank you for being in community together through comedy. So thank you. Much appreciated. Because comedy is going to save us, or at least it's going to give us something to keep laughing about throughout this whole thing. So really, thank you. Hi, I'm Stephanie. I've been living up in Portsmouth for the last 20-something years in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. But shout out Portsmouth, I heard it. But I am a native New Yorker and born and raised, yes, another one. My section is so good over here. I'm just tipping them extra tonight. I'm a native New Yorker, right? So that means that I grew up right outside of the city in a spot called New Rochelle, or as we say it in my native tongue, New Rochelle. And when I was there in junior high, my best friend was a girl named EJ, and she was one of 7 sisters. Very Catholic family. And I have to tell you that EJ stood for Elizabeth James. And it's not that her father was progressive, because he was not. It was because he was goddamn sick and tired of naming all of these girls. So Elizabeth James she was. And Elizabeth, EJ and I, we were super good friends. We had very similar hair of the time. It was both magically permed and feathered. And the sides were lacquered, hairspray lacquered tight. And they were so tight that they really became like these 2 crunchy flaps that just stayed here all of the time, except if there was a wind, and so they would all just come up like this, or sometimes they would do a little bit of that. And EJ, I also had glasses and braces. So I just wanted to complete the whole look for you guys there of being 13. And I'm an only child. I technically still am. And EJ was, again, she had 7 sisters, which was the most fascinating thing in the world to me, because going over to her house was this ability to vicariously live through what it was like to have sisters. And 6 of them, that was a lot. And it was thrilling and it was terrifying at the same time to be in that energy. And I was there all the time, because her house was walking distance to both McDonald's and the mall. So I spent a lot of time at EJ's. And EJ, so she had, like I said, she was one of 7 sisters. So starting from the top, it is Barbara, Pam, Dawn, Trisha, EJ, Jennifer, and Kellyanne. Or, as we would say, Barbara, Pam, Dawn, Trisha, Jennifer, EJ, and Kellyanne. So it was quite a mix there. Kellyanne. Yeah, everyone always said Kellyanne, like, Kellyanne! I think also her sisters always like to tell her that she was a mistake, so I think that really weared on her sense of self. So those sisters, I learned so much from them. I learned the wonders of Aquanet hairspray. I learned the wonders of an at-home perm. And also, those sisters were the ones who taught me how to use a tampon. It's a very important thing, and as an only child, I hadn't learned it yet. But the reason why I remember it is because it took place on the same day as this massive music event, Live Aid. There's like 3 people, thank you. Live Aid back in the 80s, it was Bob Geldorf. You know the Christmas song, Feed the World? We all know that song. So there was this massive concert in the 80s to feed the world. And that was the day that I learned how to use a tampon. I'll always remember it. And it was such a big thing. So her sisters taught me, and it was Pam. When Pam realized that I had never used a tampon, she looked at me and she said, "Ew, cut this shit, Stephanie, and get in the bathroom right now and get one up in there." And she was right. So I want to also tell you that at that time, there were only 2 tampon choices. There were literally only 2. There was Tampax or Playtex. There was a 3rd choice for just a little bit of time called Rely, but it was made out of this very weird, super absorbent chemical that ended up killing it. Like, a number of women died from toxic shock syndrome because of this. Yay! That was great. So they took that off the market. I'm also surprised that they did that, but they took it off the market. So there's only 2 tampons to choose from, Tampax and Playtex. And the thing was that a girl had to make a choice. You had one or the other. And I guess you just used whatever was in your house, but my mom didn't use tampons, so I had absolutely no allegiance to either one of them. I was ready for whatever was going to work best for me. And I may not have had sisters, but I did have the observational powers of an only child. And what I deduced when I was thinking of both of these tampon choices, what I was able to figure out was that the sluts used Playtex. Through observation, I just watched who was using what in the bathroom at the junior high, and it was very clear that Playtex was the tampon of sluts. I'm just letting you know, I'm not making up the rules, I'm just telling you what it was like also. And I've had a lot of time to think about this because I think it was really interesting that we had this like very Madonna whore binary of tampons at the time. It really was, because I've thought about this a lot, and it really could be like a PhD dissertation at this point. Because I think that the reason why it was like sluts and not sluts is like there was so much like religious shame and patriarchal, pressure that was on these 2 choices, because Tampax at that time, Tampax was like this, it was very rough and utilitarian, and Playtex was like plastic and soft, and it had a rounded edge, and it came in pink. Like, it was just so much better of a choice. And it's not like, all the Playtex girls were like, woo, 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 that's so great, yay, let's have fun. But if you're gonna have to use a tampon every month, you don't have to have it be this like punitive cardboard applicator, you can get something cute and pink. Back to EJ's and Live Aid. So, the TV is blasting because there's only one TV in the house, and it's blasting, and Queen is on, and Pam has just told me to cut the shit and get up there. So I did what Pam said because she was scary, as all of her sisters were, especially Trisha. And so I'm up there in the bathroom with enough tampons for seven girls. Playtex. No, they had Tampax. I'm so sorry. They had Tampax. They were a Catholic household. No sluts there. And I was lost. I opened up in every tampon box. There is this thin rice paper origami-like how-to page, if you will, of how to use it. And I'm in the bathroom and I'm trying and I'm looking and I'm trying to get it in there and I can hear Queen down the hall, like, and I'm in there and he's like, "Ba ba ba ba, up there," and I'm like, "Okay, I got it, thank you." And he was egging me on and helping me, but it's really hard your first time and I'm putting him in and ba 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 ba, and we're doing that and it's not working at all. And at this point, 5 tries in, I mean, the moisture has been whipped all the way out of the girl. And I left the bathroom and I walked down back into the living room and I'm like, "You guys, I just can't get it. I think there's something wrong with me. It's stuck. I just can't do it." And Pam looks at me and she was like, "Stephanie, get your shit together. Madonna is coming up next. Get it up in there or I will do it for you." So I went back up in there because you didn't want Pam shoving it in there. And so I went back in and I will always really truly think of Queen at the same time as well, which is so great. And so through the power of fear and Freddie Mercury, I got it in there. Also, to all of the tampon users, there was a thing in the cross section that had you putting your leg up on the toilet, and that never made sense to me. I just want to add that. Have you ever? No, like I just didn't. Like it didn't work. Okay, so I used it. I figured it out, and I had to make a choice. Was I going to be a Tampax girl or a Playtex girl? I was a Playtex girl. Okay, let's bring up our next person. All right, let's bring up our first couch to mic performer. Thanks so much. You're a good audience. I mean that. Our first performer is Nathan Powers. Yes. Nathan loves playing with his adorable dog, Charlie. I saw a picture. I can attest that dog is adorable. He likes to spend his time convincing his husband that, yes, these unnecessary kitchen gadgets are freaking necessary. And in 2003, he won his karate championship, and he is chasing that high. So let's give it to him. Please welcome to the stage, Nathan Powers.
Thank you guys. This is a lot of power holding the mic, I like it. Yeah. So, lately, I've been starting to realize that maybe the movies I watched growing up had a bigger impact on me as a kid than I thought. So, when I was a kid, every Friday night, my family and I would go to Judy's Videos to rent some movies. It was the same formula every time. We'd rent a movie for me, my brother, and then whatever my parents wanted. So, now my brother is 10 years older than I am, and I wasn't planned. So by the time I was 7, my parents were on just coasting, and got very lenient with what I was able to watch as a kid. But we'd rent the movies, we'd go home, I'd watch my movie, which was either something from Disney or the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. There was nothing in between. And then I'd go to bed, and then my parents would watch whatever they rented. But the joke's on them because I rarely ever went to bed. On the weekends, I became this weird version of Batman, where during the day, typical kid, watching like Rugrats in the Cartoon Network or whatever.
Yes.
And then at night, I'd hide in the shadows, watching things like The English Patient and Titanic. Eventually, my parents did catch on, and they were very nice. They brought me out of the shadows, put me on the couch with them, and we were able to finally watch family-friendly movies like There's Something About Mary and Saving Private Ryan. So emotionally, I was an elementary school kid. It was great. Culturally, though, I was writing my thesis on my way to my doctorate. I was watching movies now on my own, these things that I had no business seeing. And I was feral for them. Really, like Nell from the movie Nell. But this is where I realized that maybe watching these movies kind of impacted how I grew up. Yes, my taste was sublime, I will admit that, but I was one hell of an awkward kid. And movies were how I bonded with my family. That's how I wanted to make friends. But kids my age, 7 years old, didn't watch the same things I did. Like, oh, your mom says you can't watch The Sixth Sense because it's horror. Well, your mom's full of shit because it's not horror. It's a paranormal psychological thriller. Come on. But I eventually figured out that I vibed better with adults. Never strangers, though. That's where my parents drew the line. And I've seen that movie. I didn't want to get kidnapped. But it was more of like my brother's friends or my teachers. So I remember on the first day of 5th grade, our icebreaker was to write down your favorite TV show and then find someone who had liked the same thing. So of course, I wrote down a cartoon because I was expected to. I was still a slave to the man back then. But then I saw my teacher write down Friends. So I scribbled out my childish answer. I wrote down Friends, and I went over to her just so I could gossip about who I thought Rachel's baby daddy was. And I will never forget the look she gave me. She thought, that boy's gonna get bullied. But it wasn't always like that though. Sometimes I could use my knowledge for good and it made me feel like the hero, like at my brother's high school graduation. So cut to me, I'm in my room, doing kid stuff, Legos or something. And I hear some of his friends come into the living room and they want to watch a movie. And then they settle on David Fincher's classic, 7. My people finally, no notes. So I mosey on out to the living room and I help them set up the VCR because I wanted to earn a place on the couch to watch it again. But of course they shooed me away because it's not for kids, whatever, I went back to Legos. So time goes by and I hear them talking about the end of the movie, specifically what's in the box. And this is my time. This is what I was made for. So I confidently and maybe a little condescendingly walk out of my room and I let them know that clearly the end of the movie is an allegory. Kevin Spacey represents envy, Brad Pitt represents wrath, and Gwyneth Paltrow's head is so fucking obviously in the box. Now, I thought to myself, I'm gonna have to give them a minute, let the applause die down. But all I got were more looks of, he's gonna get bullied. And then finally one guy spoke up, and he's like, how do you know that? You're just a kid and this is a horror movie. To which I reply, actually, Jason, it's a psychological movie. Thank you guys so much.
it for Nathan Powers! The deep cut of Nell, with the sugar pay the tay to win, right? Anyone else? Is it just Nathan that's on now? Okay, I guess so. That was so good. All right, awesome. Our next performer is Deby Shadani. Did I get it right?
Yeah.
Oh, then I want to augment it. Shadani, it's so good. In high school, her superlative was most school spirit, because apparently she smiles all the time. It is very true. This woman can do 40 push-ups, and she's single, but not for long. Please welcome Deby Shadani.
My favorite band is Sleep Token. Having a band no one knows is like having a really great boyfriend that never comes to the party. You insist he's great, and people are like, if he's great, why is he not here? On top 40. When your band gets famous, it's so gratifying because then they realize the greatness you've been sleeping with all along. Then it gets annoying because they want to sleep with them. And you had them first. So Sleep Token is a band that blends atmospheric, sexy drums, piano ballad, kiss me, touch me, rub me vocals. So like metal rock. It's great. They're completely anonymous. They wear masks, green robes, all black pants. They're like underworld hot. I learned about Sleep Token through a situationship. We were watching drum videos, my foreplay, and on this side of the YouTube page, I saw this like masked man, and I was like, oh no, he's in a cult. And I said, like, who is that with the bird, the like sleep no more mask? And he said, that's Sleep Token. They're anonymous. No one knows who they are. I could be Sleep Token. I heard him saying he's not. So they don't use their names. The drummer is 2, like the number. The guitarist is 3. The bassist is 4. And the lead singer, Vessel. Vessel! Pour me a cup of that. Okay. So I told my dad about Sleep Token, and he called them Subway Token. An insult that Gen Z wouldn't even understand. Like, they just now tap their phones. We used to have tickets. We used to have tokens. We used to have little, like, cards and tickets that people would punch, like conductors would punch. And they would be like, oh, New York? Pretty lady. Oh. Like, it was a thing. And now it's just, here, you can scan. And it's crazy. As the world progresses, it becomes more ethereal. Like, pretty soon, people won't even know what metal is, and the genre will be heavy digital. I went to the Grammys to see Sleep Token. They got nominated for 2 Grammys. Yes, you've never heard of them, and they were nominated for 2 Grammys: Best Metal Performance and Best Rock Song. Yes. And that's amazing because Pitchfork, a magazine that like reviews music, gave them 2 out of 10 stars. Pitchfork. Do you even know what a pitchfork is? Like, they don't even know. It was like in a farm at one point. They don't even know. So suck it, Pitchfork. They got nominated for 2 Grammys, which is so awesome. I got to go actually because my best friend, she works for the Recording Academy's nonprofit arm. It's called Music Cares. It's great. They help musicians with job loss, with rehab, with healthcare issues, and with hooking a girl up for the Grammys. And so the Grammys are, actually, do you know what a Grammy is? It's a gramophone. It is an old-timey, obsolete listening machine that we have idolized, and we give these little plastic trophies. And I think what we should do is we should restore gramophones, and that should be the award that people are given. Because where are all those gramophones anyway now? Next to the subway tokens. And that way there wouldn't be such a waste of them. Sleep Token didn't win any of the Grammys. Turnstile did. Do you know what Turnstile is? Thank you.
Debbie Shadani and all of her tokens. You guys, Debbie had shared with me what they sound like, and they are as sexy and moody and like as she described. So go do it. It's so good. All right, yeah. Tonight we've already had like turnstiles, pitchforks, gramophones, Live Aid. We're like really hitting now. We're really getting all the deep cuts tonight. Coming up next, we've got Mathew. Did I add an L in there? Mathew. I got it right. Mathew Dulcinos. Well, that's a mouthful for me. I don't know why. Maybe it's my New York accent in there. Mathew Dulcinos. He hails from a small town in Lancaster, Massachusetts. And if Mathew's not coding or competing in competitive pinball competitions, he's doing comedy. So please welcome to the stage, Mathew Dulcinos.
Alright, I'm not using this, so I'm gonna move this off to the side. So my therapist made me take a test to see if I'm autistic. I'm a pretty logical person. I've always known what to do if I have a problem. I Google it. My TV not working? I Google it. I want to know how to make a quiche? I Google it. I have problems with sensory overload and regulating my emotions. I Google that shit. But, why waste my time getting to the root cause of a problem when I can just Google it, find out the answer, and save myself the trouble?
Yes.
Unfortunately, some of these things don't work that way, and it's time to call in a professional. So when I first met with my therapist, I told her, hey, I just need a couple of answers to the problems I'm having. I'm probably only going to be here for 1 or 2 sessions, and then I'm good to go. Yeah, that was 6 months ago, so didn't really work out too much according to my schedule. But, yeah, so, we worked through, some of the issues. Turns out getting irrationally upset when someone disrupts my optimized workflow for cooking dinner, traveling to a specific location, putting dishes into a dishwasher in a very specific organization. You can't just have one simple solution to that. So, we explored my problems, that I was having. What solutions to them there might be, what might be related to autism or ADHD or, whatever else. One of the things specifically that she had me do, as sort of a practice, was she had me sit down and close my eyes and think about, imagine a time when I was feeling, overwhelmed or anxious or, upset. And, so she had me sit there and really think about it and, try and remember how it felt. And then once I'm done, once I've really remembered that feeling, we opened our eyes and, I talked about how it felt. And she always wanted to know where I was feeling these feelings. And so, for myself, thinking about it, I'm angry, I'm upset. It's a lot of in my head. And that's what I told her. I told her, I feel very head-based. And so then, she goes, she goes, all right. Now let's go. Let's sit back down again, close our eyes, and let's think about, a happy experience, something where you feel very comfortable, relaxed, and, whatever that may be. It might be, going to the beach. It might be, tending to the garden, and sit there and really enjoy that. And then, I opened my eyes and we talked about it, and she asked me that same question. Where are you feeling it? And I know I wasn't doing this correctly because the answer was once again in my head. Because, I'm thinking about, I'm feeling everything in my head. I can feel things with the rest of my body, but emotions all happen in my head. And so, then I'm presented with a different problem of, a sort of creative exercise of, maybe I could feel it in my arms as well, But I don't know. So finally, after weeks of, working together, she recommends that I take this test called the RADS-R test. It's an online test, and it's a screening test for autism. So what you need to know about this test is that it's 80 statements, and all you need to do is say whether you related to the statement as a kid, as an adult, both throughout your whole life, or none of your life. Sounds simple, 80 just multiple choice statements. I figured this would be easy, simple, super simple to do. I was wrong. The first statement. The phrase, he wears his heart on his sleeve does not make sense to me. The phrase, he wears his heart on his sleeve does not make sense to me. So my first instinct is, yeah, of course. I know what this expression is. I understand it. So I click the button that says, I don't relate to this statement. But then I'm sitting here thinking, do I understand what it means? It's supposed to be somebody who's very open with their, feelings, very out. But it specifically wears their heart on their sleeve. Why their sleeve? Is this something that I'm supposed to know about? Is it like how medics, wear like the little badge on their sleeve? Was I supposed to know that that's what this was? Is the quiz asking me if I know the intention of the statement or if I understand like the deeper meaning? And we haven't even gotten to how I feel about this as a kid. I never really thought about this phrase as a kid. So what does that mean? I don't remember being confused about it, but also I never looked up a definition. So, I don't know. Anyways, after debating about it for a while, we finally get to the next statement. I have been told I have an unusual voice, i.e., high-pitched, childish, flat. Nope. Can't relate to that one. Next statement. When I get overwhelmed by my senses, I have to isolate myself to shut them down. Yeah. Of course. Everybody has to do that. Everyone has the closet that they go into when they're feeling overwhelmed. The only reason you don't see it is because closet time is time spent alone. Nobody is, hanging out with other people during closet time. So finally, I get to the end of this test. This test that would hopefully finally give me the answer as to whether I am autistic or whether I'm not autistic. So I get, computes the final result and it tells me my answer. Strong indications of autism, although non-autistics may score just as high. In other words, I still don't have a definite answer. I'm in the exact same boat as when I started this process 6 months ago. Now, I could go and get professionally diagnosed if I wanted to, but at this point, I've developed the skills to help deal with the things that I personally struggle with. So at least for the immediate future, I'm going to live with the fact of knowing that I might or might not potentially be autistic.
Hey everybody! Hey! My name is Bryce Somerville. This is the second part of the evening. These are the works in progress. And I think it goes for everyone performing, including me, that it's this is a work in progress. It's not the final thing. So it may be a little raw, but it may be even more fun in that way. So just keep that in mind as we go about this. Let's give a hand for the comedians tonight. I would like to keep that going for. You've seen her before, Deby, and she is going to be performing a character who is the niece of Miss Frizzle, Riley Frizzle. So let's give a good round of applause for Riley Frizzle.
line more, but crazy person. Okay, that was a great character or not great character. That was a character I've been trying out. I really like that character. These are all works in progress. And we've been doing some clown classes. We just started our 8-week clown class. I am teaching it. Super great. And Harry, who is about to come out, has been taking it for almost a year and a half or so with me, which has been so great. And Gemma. And so we're doing these experimental things. I won't say too much more, but please give me some energy for Harry Madison.
Let us begin with a song. Music can fill the void created by a lack of music. Fare thee well, my honey. Fare thee well, my only true love. All the birds that were singing have flown, except you alone. Thank you. This time, let us share one of our most sacred and solemn rituals. When we look up at the heavens and consider our brief and earthbound lives. We wonder how we can transcend how we live here. We realize that the most appropriate thing to do in a situation like this is to release the doves. So fly off into the dark, sweet dove. Forgot to feed the dove earlier. Maybe that will help. But to conclude, looking at the regret and disappointment that I see on all of your faces, and thinking about those who chose not to be here tonight. Releasing a single dove seems grossly inadequate. And in a situation like this, there's nothing to do except to release the ducks. So be free, sweet ducks. Be free.
Yo, we have a very special last performance, and this is by Bryce Somerville. Please put your hands together for an untitled piece by Bryce Somerville.
Just
No.
Ooh. Hey.
Whoa.
A, B. A, B, C.
Whoa.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G. N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, M, X, Y.
Yay! No.
Thank you so much. That was awesome. Thank you so much, Deby.
Yes, and Bill.
Bill.
Bill, take it back.
Oh my gosh. The whole time. I know, the puppeteer. I know. Thank you so much, and thank you so much to Stephanie Lazenby. For leading such a fantastic Couch to Mic class. 4 weeks, and so please keep yourself self-aware of Stephanie's classes. She'll be back if you enjoyed that sort of comedic storytelling style. A very fantastic teacher and great to have here. And just another just wonderful round of applause again for Nathan, for Mathew, for myself, of course, to our clowns. If you have any interest, please talk to us. But thank you so much to them, and thank you for being part of this works in progress. These are not finished, even though they seem like pretty good. I would say they're pretty good, but your feedback, your honest feedback, really helps us create work. So thank you so much for contributing to that tonight. Stick around, have another drink if you want to, and mingle for a little bit. And my name is Debbie. Thank you so much.